Well, what's up, everyone? It is Monday morning, y'all. It is Monday, March the 7th, 2022. And I am your host, Gail Dudley, and it is time for your news in motion. Let me know who's in here. All you got to do is just jump on in here. Let me know that you're in the room, and we will get this news started. We have a lot of weekend recap that we're going to cover today. So let me know you're here. I see you popping in here. Jeffrey Allen James, Tracy. Good morning to the two of you. Good morning, Deborah Johnson. Good morning to you. Hello, Adrienne and Lori Wallace. Good morning to all of you. We have a lot to recap. I see you, Katrina. I see you in here. Good morning to you. So come on in the room, y'all. Let me know you're in here. One day I'm gonna figure out how we can just pop y'all in every now and then. Good morning, Deborah Sneed and Sardinia. Good morning. Hey, ladies, it's still what you call it, Women's History Month. So if you have a product or a service that you would like to share, the thread is open for you to do that. Just post it in there, what you do, and if people come back to check it out, they can see it. I see you, Pastor Alex. Good morning. Good morning, Dr. Antoinette. Doesn't that sound good, girl? Dr. Antoinette. So come on in the room. Come on in the room. Let me know you're in here. Do me a favor. Hit that share button. Y'all know that's free. Just hit that share button. The best thing to do is put a little message in there and tell them why you are inviting them to check out News in Motion. So hit that share button. Invite people to come hang out with us today and any other day. How about that? So come on in the room, people. Come on in the room. Come on in here. Let me know you're in here. I see you, Shirley Nicholson. Good morning to you, sister. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. The other thing to help with our algorithm, hit those impression buttons. Hit the impression. First of all, like the page and then throw up as many thumbs up or hearts as your heart desire. We would greatly appreciate that as well. Dr. Antoinette said, thank you. It does. Was typing my share message. All right, girl. I appreciate that. Good morning, Danielle, coming in from YouTube. Good morning to you. Good morning. Y'all, so much is happening. Cherie said, check out Power 52 Foundation. She said, we are creating diversity, equity, and inclusion in the renewable energy industry. Get in now. So there's that. Make sure y'all check that out. Good morning, Yvonne. Good morning, Marion Jackson. Good morning. Good morning to everyone. Marion, you look good in that News in Motion t-shirt. I like that. Dr. Antoinette said her merch came too. Look, here's what happened. And I see in Facebook that they keep showing that we're starting. So I don't know if it's a lot of weather pattern that's going on. So I don't want to blame Facebook per se. But I see that. That's why if y'all see me keep looking down, it keeps changing. So I don't know what's happening there. But listen, y'all, I have to accept responsibility for the merch. Those who won merch or those who have paid for merch, because it was on our end that we did not hit the button that we don't have to check the distribution first. I was like, but I came to y'all so that I didn't have to do that. But we had to answer all of those questions. And I never knew that. One day I happened to be in there just looking, seeing what's happening. We're going to add some new merch coming up. And I was in there and I was like, why are these all still showing pending? Now, one was, all this is my fault, so I accept responsibility. One actually went to Dr. Antoinette, but I had her old address. So she corrected the address because it had gone back to the distribution center, but I didn't release it again. So I'm like looking, saying, why are all these things still in the distribution center? And they were like, I called them, they were like, you have to give us permission. And so once I did that, all y'all's merch started flying out. So my apologies for that. I see you, Dave. Y'all want to see that suntan, girl? I see you. All right, y'all, we have a lot of news. A lot of reporting that I need to do. We also have Sports with Kenny this morning. We also have a contest we're going to put up there as well. Yeah, y'all, the weather pattern is tripping this morning. It looks like LinkedIn. If you're trying to get in LinkedIn and you're on two different devices, LinkedIn for whatever reason is not connecting. So there's something that's going on. The notice came up that says, and I'll read it to you. It looks like your stream isn't showing up on LinkedIn. This is likely a known issue with LinkedIn. They're working to fix it. Try ending the broadcast and create a new one. We're not going to do that because we're on two others. We actually on several other streams, or just remove the destination. So if you're on LinkedIn and you're having trouble, they're trying to fix it. Either go to YouTube if you want to watch the video, or come over here to Facebook if you want to watch the video. All right, y'all, we got to get moving. So hold on. We'll be right back. Let's go. Okay, we're not going to worry about it. Something's happening. So, y'all, we have a lot of weather stuff going on. Y'all know the intro. We just going to keep moving with it. I see you, Kim. I see you, Pastor Annette. All right, y'all. New York Times is reporting that President Putin of Russia said any nation that imposed a no-fly zone would be considered an enemy combatant. So he's saying, y'all enter this. Y'all put out a no-fly zone. I'm coming for you too. That's basically what he's saying. President Zelensky, though, called on Ukrainians to resist as residents describe different cities becoming unfit for human life. Now, the no-fly zone, let me explain a little bit of what this is. Their Axios is reporting, so is New York Times and NPR and AP News and others, that Ukrainian President Zelensky repeatedly called for NATO to establish a no-fly zone over Ukraine to slow the Russian bombardment. It's like they're just hitting them. They're hitting them. So he's asking for NATO to cancel that. Now, they're not going to respond to that favorably for him, and I'm going to tell you why. Now, alliance leaders have so far ruled out declaring the no-fly zone, as it could trigger, this is why they're not doing it, as it can trigger a widespread conventional war between non-NATO member state, NATO nations, and a nuclear-powered Russia. So they're like, we're not trying to bring in World War III. Say that real fast. So a no-fly zone in an area where certain aircrafts are not allowed to fly. That's what a no-fly zone is. Now, here's an example of a no-fly zone. I never knew this until I started researching this. Y'all, when you research news, you find out all kinds of stuff. And so I encourage all of you, don't just take my word for it. Do the research yourself. Airplanes have been restricted from the skies above Disney World in Florida and Disneyland in Anaheim, California since 2003. And I was like, what makes that a no-fly zone? But also restrictions have been used during the Olympics, that there was a no-fly zone. Now there's a no-fly zone over the White House. There's no-fly zones over, I think it's Buckingham Palace and other places. Now, NATO cannot really help in his cry for the no-fly zone because they need to be enforced by the militaries. Y'all, trust me, y'all, information is powerful. Now, if Russian planes were to enter the banned airspace, then Western forces would need to respond, putting them in a direct conflict with Russia. That's why you see them snatching up yachts. Did y'all see that in France? They snatched up that beautiful yacht over the weekend, the Russian oligarch's yacht. Now, they're trying to avoid an all-out conflict. So Secretary of State Blinken here in America on Meet the Press yesterday said, what we're trying to do is end this war in Ukraine, not start a larger one. And they're knowing if they do this no-fly zone, it will start a larger war. Like right now, they just removing stuff again. They snatched up that beautiful yacht, thinking that's going to do it. But that's Zelensky is asking for help. I see you, Latrice Jones. So here's Zelensky's cry, and I want y'all to hear this. He's saying that Russia's brutal, cynical attack on, and I think I'm going to pronounce this right. I've been practicing it. Let's see if I get it right. Venetia has left the city's airport completely destroyed. That's what he said. He says, we repeat every day, close the sky over Ukraine, close all of Russian missiles. Russia's combat aircraft for all these terrorists. He says, make a humanitarian air zone. That's what he said. So he's crying out. He's also saying this, and I want y'all to hear this quote of his. He said, if you do not close this airspace, if you at least do not give us aircraft for us to be able to protect ourselves, there can be only one conclusion. You want us to be slowly killed. These are his words. Yeah. So insert MiG 29. Politico is reporting that the US and Europe said they're willing to help Ukraine's Air Force by supplying Soviet era MiG 29 fighter jets. Now, Poland currently has these jets that Ukrainian pilots are familiar with, but won't let Ukraine borrow airplanes without somebody replacing them. Insert Joe Biden, President Joe Biden. So the Biden administration, I think it was Saturday night, early Sunday morning, has suggested that it could backfill Poland's Air Force with U.S.-made jets if Poland transferred its planes to Ukraine. Yeah, there's a whole lot. So some of you may be asking, because I was asking this as I was researching it, like, just give them the planes, just give them the planes. You can't just do that. There's all of these policies and procedures that are in place. So let's talk. I want us to talk for a minute, y'all. Tune on in. Let's talk. Let's talk. And I want you to put your comments in the chat. This is very important. Y'all know everything I do, I tie it back to voting. So you see, just in what I just shared, that voting is more than putting your favorite person or the person outside of your party in office. It's more than that. See, we look at voting because we were raised that way, or we were taught that way in high school or in college, that this is what voting is. No, this is what voting is. Because here's questions. Again, go back to what I shared on Thursday. And I can't imagine. First of all, let me just pause. The number of shares on last Thursday's, I call it class in session, that has been floating around has been awesome. Thank you for sharing that video. Y'all did it on your own. And people are writing in. I have 3 invitations to speak on different podcasts about what I shared last Thursday. People are saying, this is the information we need. Are you available to come to our church? Are you available? And the answer to all of that is yes, but it's going to cost you. You got to get me there. You got to put me up. You got to feed me. You got to do, these things. I just can't go to all these different places. So again, thank you for sharing that. But anybody who's sending that invitation, listen, I'm more than willing to come, but you got to get me there. You got to feed me once I get there. So, and I'm really excited about this. This is a passion of mine, and God is starting to unfold how he's going to use all of this information. Good morning, Regina. So here are questions we need to ask. Who agreed to these no-fly zones? Who agreed to this? When were they established? How can policy change? What could a candidate do to write legislation to make the change? Can the policy even change? Is there room for it to change? And is this who and what NATO stands for? Now, NATO, for those of you may be saying, what does that stand for? It stands for the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. That's what it stands for. There are currently 30 members to NATO. United States is one of them. Now, NATO membership is open to any other European state in a position to further the principles of the treaty and to contribute to the security of the North Atlantic area. I'm reading this to y'all for on purpose. Now, there's also a link that you can read this on your own. Isaiah, if you can put the banner up for the NATO link, that would be great. Security in our daily lives is key to our well-being. That's NATO's purpose, which is to guarantee the freedom and security of its members through political and military means. Now, listen, y'all, I want y'all to hear this. That line right there tells you why you should register to vote if you have not already registered, and why you should vote in every election, no matter if you think it's a small election or a large election. I'll read that again. NATO's purpose is to guarantee the freedom and security of its members through political and military means. Now, on the political side, NATO promotes democratic values and enables members to consult and cooperate on defense and security related issues to solve problems, build trust, and in the long run, prevent conflict. Stop right there. President Zelensky of Ukraine has been begging them for what I just read. He's like, help me, make me a part, make us a part of NATO. That's what they do. Now, here's this on the military side. NATO is committed to the peaceful resolution of disputes. Huh? What? Zelensky's asking for this. NATO is committed to the peaceful resolution of disputes. If diplomatic efforts fail, it has the military power to undertake crisis management operations. These are carried out under the Collective Defense Clause of NATO's Funding Treaty, Article 5 of the Washington Treaty, or under the United Nations mandate, alone or in cooperation with other countries and international organizations. That's NATO, y'all. That's NATO. Now, here's the other thing. Every day, member countries consult and make decisions on security issues. Every day they do this. A NATO decision is the expression of collective will of all 30 countries. And then hundreds of officials, as well as civilian and military experts, come to NATO headquarters each day to exchange information. I'm giving all of this. Kim Edmondson says, if peace is their objective, then what are they doing to maintain peace? That's the question. Now, I'm about to say something that I can't even believe I'm about to say, and I just got to say it. I found myself this weekend asking the question, is this why the previous occupant came out of NATO? And if so, was he wrong? I hate asking that question, but I just kept zoning in on that. And I said, see, his craziness messed up something that maybe we should have been paying attention to. And I am having the hardest time saying what I'm saying. But y'all, it's the truth. And y'all know I want to be fair and balanced. That was a question I continue to ask myself. Now, it's hard to just land there because of the occupant's relationship with Russian President Putin. So that kind of like makes it muddy for me, or mucky for me, if you will. But I had to raise that question. And I want us, when we're looking at politics, I want us to raise these type of questions, because y'all, this is noteworthy information and this is news in motion. And what I believe I just gave you was some relevant and factual commentary for you to check this out on your own and wrestle with this. Now, New York Times is reporting about talks of protests. All right, most U.S. food chains and food companies are keeping their Russian businesses open, the New York Times reports. Now, the list includes McDonald's, Coca-Cola, Pepsi-Cola, Papa John's, Starbucks, and Mondelez's International, the maker of Oreos. All right. Now, here's what's happening. Because many fast food retailers use the franchise models for their stores, they don't actually own them. So they really don't have the power to shut them down in response to political developments. That's per the New York Times. So don't be mad at them. Don't start protesting. Understand why you're protesting. That's another reason why we vote, people. Understand, because they don't have ownership of those sites, they just can't shut them down. All right. Now, I will tell you, McDonald's owns all of them there, all the franchises there. So McDonald's could shut them down, but they're not. All right. Now, the last thing when I come to Ukraine is that the Ukrainians are finding that their Russian relatives don't believe that there's a war going on. So that's kind of sad. Now, if that's not enough, all of us in America, we are feeling it. Over the weekend, the average gas price in the US hit $4 a gallon for the first time since 2008. I can tell you in California, it's hitting close to 7.50. In Atlanta, it is in Georgia or Atlanta specifically, it is over $4. How do I know? Just ask that question. And they're starting to trickle out and they're going up. For myself, I went to Costco. And they had a wait of like over 45 minutes. And I was like, I ain't got time for this. I was trying to get in before it hit the $4. So now I want Isaiah to put up the image of Airbnb. Now, this is how you do it, people, if you want to help. People around the world are booking Airbnbs in Ukraine. They just don't plan to check in. Now, Airbnb hosts in Ukraine are being flooded with bookings from people all over the world who have no plan to visit. As part of a creative social media campaign to funnel money to the Ukrainians who need financial assistance as Russia forces their attacks on them. CNN is reporting that the momentum picked up over the weekend. There has now been booked more than 61,000 nights in Ukraine. They're saying if this is something you want to join, make sure that you are booking with the Ukrainian-owned Airbnb. Okay, you can go online to do that. There's spam out there. So please, everyone, be careful. Please, everyone, be careful, making sure you're not a part of the spam. And you can go directly to Airbnb's website, which is airbnb.com, to look for, you put in the search bar, Ukrainian. You want to make sure they are Ukrainian owned if you want to do it. You can book a night as low as $14. There's been some out there as low as $9. Make sure you book it to the closest date possible to today or whenever you do it. Why? Because if you book it closest to the day, they get the money faster. Airbnb has canceled all fees so that all money is going directly to the owners of the Airbnb. So just be mindful of that. Other ways you can support, Isaiah, I think you have that link as well. You can go to the Obama Foundation, obama.org, and there's a list. They tell you how to, there's like a humanitarian thing, a financial thing, a Polish migration form. All types of information is out there for you to help. Wow. Now, if you want to lighten it up a little bit, that's a lot. That's a lot to carry. And I've been wrestling through this all weekend long. And there's more. There was images I chose not to show you. Social media is being very careful now with putting up, that these are some horrible images before you move forward, because there are some horrific images out there. Thank you for that banner, Isaiah. All right, y'all, we're getting ready to bring on Kenny with sports. But before we do that, we have listed sports with Kenny, because we changed the end zone because it was football. And we've learned that somebody has sports with Kenny, and we want to be respectful. We don't want to get into any copyright or anything like that. And they're cool with us using that name until we find something that works. So we want to make it interesting. I got a couple of sweatshirts in the other day, hoodies, and this hoodie right here, this is a bad hoodie, y'all. This hoodie right here, we're going to give this hoodie out to the person who names Kenny Stanley Sports segment. So we're gonna ask you to fill in the thread or to DM us a name, and then Kenny will go over. Whoever is selected will get this hoodie. And then it has the that's happening down the side. So you get an opportunity to participate. And just let you know, it's the sizes that I have here. This is a unisex 2X. I like them big anyway. A unisex 2X. So whoever names Kenny's Sports Show will get this sweatshirt. Whoever names his sports show will get this sweatshirt. So we will fill up the thread with your suggestions or DM us, and do that before, let's say, I'll wait until Kenny come on. I'm going to say between noon and 3 o'clock Eastern time today. And then we will select and announce the winner on tomorrow's show. With that, yep, I like that. Sports in Motion with Kenny. With that, let's start the intro to bring on Kenny. Yeah.
What's happening? How y'all
How
doing?
you?
I'm good.
Good. We gotta get a time. What time? You want to go to 12 noon Eastern or 3 o'clock for everybody
Three
to
o'clock. 3 o'clock Eastern.
3 o'clock Eastern. So y'all
3 o'clock.
know again, whoever names it, you get this. And I'm telling y'all, I'm real particular about how things feel. Y'all, this is a comfortable study. Let me tell you. So here it is. So you have until noon. All right, Kenny, it's on you. Take it away, buddy.
Hey, good morning, News and Motion family. Welcome to Sports with me, yours truly, Kenny Stanley. How y'all doing today? Let's jump right in. In WNBA news, Brittany Griner was detained in Russia. Wow. They said she had a vape cartridge that had some cannabis oil in it. Man, oh man, you can't do that. You can't do that. She's looking at if it's true that it's her from the video that was released. The female that they showed on the video was 6'9". Brittany Griner is 6'9". If it's true that it was her, she's looking at 10 years in prison as a maximum sentence. Um, wow, I don't know what to say. But the U.S. said they're trying to do everything they can to get Brittany home. Let's hope and pray that it works out for Brittany and that she gets home. Let's go to college basketball. The madness is here. Starts this week with league tournaments, and then we're going to go into the NCAA tournament. Are y'all going to fill out a bracket? I think I'm going to fill out one this year. I haven't done it in a couple years. I think I'm going to fill out a bracket this year for the NCAA tournament. See how I do. In not so good news, the OSU Buckeyes continue their up and down season. They took an L again yesterday, 75-69. They lost to that team up north. Wow. Come on, y'all got to get it together. I don't know what y'all's problem is. Michigan State beat Maryland 77-67 on Saturday. This was a big game in North Carolina. North Carolina went to Duke, and they spoiled Coach K's final game at Duke. They spoiled it for him by beating Duke 94-81. I'm not a Duke fan, but I got to give it up to Coach K. He has done a remarkable job since 1980 in coaching the Duke Blue Devils. But now they got to get ready for the ACC tournament and see what they can do there. And then they're going to try to get Coach K another national championship in the NCAA tournament. So let's see what they do. Maybe Coach K can go out on a good note. Let's go to the women's side. Kentucky knocked off the number one team in the country, South Carolina, yesterday to win the SEC championship in their tournament. They beat them 64-62 on a last second shot, 3-pointer, and they won the game 64-62. Stanford beat Utah, and then Iowa topped Indiana 74-67. In the NBA, Denver Nuggets, they beat the New Orleans Pelicans 138-130 in overtime. I hope I pronounced his name right. Nikola Jokic scored 30 of his 46 points in the fourth quarter and overtime. He had a game yesterday. He balled all the way out. Boston beat Brooklyn 126-120, and Milwaukee top Phoenix 132-122. Can we talk about what we seen Saturday? They keep saying this man is washed up. He's no more good. He's on the downside. He need to go ahead and quit. He can't play no more. Talking about LeBron James. This man at the age of 37 dipped into the fountain of youth and dropped 56 on Golden State. If that's washed up, let me get washed up then. He dropped his average this year is up. He is averaging 29.4 points a game. He is averaging 8.1 rebounds a game, and he's averaging 6 assists a game. LeBron is balling out. It's better than what his career average is of 27 points a game, 7.5 rebounds, and 7 assists. If the Lakers are going to make the playoffs, LeBron's going to have to carry the team and the office with him because nobody else is showing up. They didn't make any moves before the trade deadline to try to get LeBron some help. LeBron needs some help. And I'm just a LeBron fan. I'm not a Lakers fan, but I'm a LeBron fan. He needs some help. LeBron is balling out. He's doing everything he can. There's nobody else there. But that's it for sports today. Let's kick it back to Gail for some more news.
What's up? Thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
You made it out today.
Hey, thank you so much. I'm enjoying myself. This is fun.
Yeah. Pastor Alex said he's not washed up. He just can't play defense.
He's doing everything else. What else you want him to do? He got to sell the popcorn. He got to sell the soda. He's running the parking lot. He's doing everything. What else you want him to do? The man tired.
I'm with you. You got a lot of great suggestions in here. We won't go over them now. But Kenny will take a look at them. And we will announce tomorrow who wins the sweatshirt. Now, if you're trying to say, well, I'm gonna just go to the site and order it. The site is currently down for about 24 hours. We're doing some maintenance on the site that has all of our merch. We'll go ahead and put the merch link up there just for you to have it later. But check after about maybe 10 p.m. tonight. We are updating it. We are putting some new merch up there as well. So if you go in there now, it's down, but it'll be back up in about 24 hours. Again, thank you, Kenny, for hanging out with me this morning.
Thank you. Thank you.
See you later.
See you later.
Right, we have some other news we want to talk about. Tomorrow is International Women's Day. And I'm excited to announce that we will have Kelly joining us tomorrow after I've gone through the morning headlines. Tune in to celebrate this woman and other women who are making history on this during this Women's History Month. AP News Vice President Kamala Harris joins other officials in Selma, Alabama to mark the 57th anniversary of Bloody Sunday Bridge crossing. Apple is reporting. If you have an Apple, you already got the email. Apple is posed for its first live stream event of 2022 on tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern. The company sent out press invitation emails for the event titled Peak Performance, with rumors strongly suggesting Apple will announce a new third generation iPhone SE with 5G. Do it if you want to. Anonymous on Twitter, which his handle or their handle is @Anon News, that's ANON News. The hacker group Anonymous claimed it hacked Russian streaming service and live TV channels to broadcast footage of the war in Ukraine. Now, I won't show the video here because I don't play with stuff like that, but they have a full video out on Twitter. Check it out. Hollywood Reporter, The Batman scored the second best opening of the pandemic era, bringing in $128.5 million at the domestic box office this weekend. Only the second pandemic era film to top $100 million in its opening weekend. CNBC reports Netflix shuts down in Russia. WJHG reports that Florida wildfires have burned through more than 10,000 acres along the state's panhandle as it continued to grow in size. All right, y'all, in COVID news, and I'm almost out of here. AP reports the number of reported global deaths attributed to COVID-19 passed 6 million overnight, according to data compiled by Johns Hopkins University. That's the global number, y'all. That's the global number. The symbolic mark was surpassed just days shy of the 2-year anniversary of the declaration of the global pandemic, which is March the 11th, 2020 was the initial date. The U.S. accounts for roughly 16% of total reported deaths, followed by Brazil at 10%, India at 9%, Russia at 6%, and Mexico at 5%. Now, y'all, the number, I'll share this. The number of new cases reported in the U.S. continues to fall. So we can celebrate that, y'all. It's now dropping below 50,000 per day. So we can celebrate that. In many places, today marks the day, March the 7th, that a lot of mandates are lifted throughout multiple states, and I believe Ohio is one of them. So check for yourselves to see. Y'all, use caution. Do what's best for you. I'm trying to get a little comfortable. I didn't have a mask on when I was out Saturday night. Y'all went out Saturday night. Go to my IG. I was looking fly. I was looking fly. Celebrating a friend's birthday who turned 65. We had a blast at that birthday. But anyway, I took off the mask then. I had the mask off Sunday a little bit. I did wear a mask in church as my husband preached on Sunday morning. But then we went to dinner. I kept my mask on until the dinner came. So I'm trying just to determine where I'm comfortable. So I'll do the same as well. All right, y'all. Here's the inspirational message, and I hope those of you can stay on here because I was weeping through this message over the weekend, and I knew I wanted to deliver it to you today. And I want to title this inspirational message "Finding Your Voice." Again, I want to call this message "Finding Your Voice." Y'all know I love the message. Y'all know I love the message. That's my thing, the Message Bible. Out of Isaiah chapter 58, verses 1 through 3, the message reads like this: Shout, a full-throated shout. Hold nothing back. A triumphant blast shout. Tell my people what's wrong with their lives. Face my family, Jacob, with their sins. They're busy, busy, busy at worship and love studying all about me. To all appearances, they are a nation of right living people, law abiding, God honoring. They ask me, what's the right thing to do? And love having me on their side. But they also complain. Why do we fast? And why don't and you don't look, I'm sorry, why do we fast and you don't look our way? Why do we humble ourselves and you don't even notice? Man, I want y'all to read that for yourselves. And I believe it's going to hit you like it hit me. And so let me break this down real quick. Finding your voice. It starts off with verse 1 saying, Shout, a full throated shout, hold nothing back, a trumpet blast shout. Tell my people what's wrong with their lives. Face my family, Jacob, with their sins. But they're busy, busy, busy at worship. So I'm going to just stop right there because I'm going to let you read the rest of it. But let me just break this down real quick. One of my things for Lent, as we all started, many of us started on Ash Wednesday. One of my things is not so much what I'm giving up, and my thing is sugar. I'm giving up sugar or trying to anyway. But it's also I'm asking God to help me find the pieces of me that may have been lost. Yeah, y'all know I'm transparent. And when I was thinking of that, when I was praying and calling out to God, y'all know I'm a believer, I'm a follower of Jesus. God replied back to me and said, You're not really lost. You just been busy asking other people and getting validation from other people what I've already told you. Ouch. He said, I want you to use your voice. Everybody's not going to clap their hands behind your voice. Everybody's not going to like what you have to say. Everybody's not going to do it, but they don't matter. I'm the one who matters. So I need you to use your voice and speak what I have put in your throat, in your mouth to speak. God then also said these words to me, and I'm going to read this because I don't want to mess it up. He said, What's on your tongue that I have already anointed? It's waiting to be released, but you keep holding it back. Yeah. So I want to ask you the same question. What is it that God has placed on your tongue that He has anointed for you for such a time as this, but you have not allowed it to be released? This is the season to do that. Many people may want to weigh in on what you're doing or how you're doing it. And yes, I'm guilty. I ask people, hey, what do you think of this? What did you think of that? And hey, what's the best way forward? And God, I know every time I do it, when I get into a silent place, God's like, was my word not good enough for you? Everyone's not going to be on the same bandwagon as you. Everyone's not going to validate what you're doing. And y'all, this isn't just for me, it's for you too. Everyone's not going to validate what you're doing. Everyone's not going to be excited about what it is that you're doing. There was a meme yesterday, I think I may have forwarded on my Instagram, that said, the things that bring you joy, hold on to it. Don't just share it. And that thing came after I had been just spending time with God. And what came for me behind that was, people aren't mad that you didn't share what you were doing with them. And this was my reply back to the person. People are mad because they didn't have an opportunity to stall your forward motion. There's something that I know God wants me to do that has nothing to do with news and motion. This is my ministry side. And I keep fighting him on that. And God said, but that one thing that I've been asking you to do now for several weeks, that one thing will change your entire life. Then God followed with these questions. What are you afraid of? So I want to ask you the same question. What are you afraid of? Who are you afraid of? The fear should be the fear of God, not the fear of man or other people. Y'all, this Lent season is going to be extremely different. And you may say, oh, I miss Ash Wednesday. Is it too late? No, it's never too late. It's never too late. You don't even have to do it on during Lent. But it's never too late to get before God. So I want to introduce a prayer position, and that's the prostrate position. That's where you're lying flat on the floor, face down, with hands stretched out. And I'm going to give you these scriptures. If somebody can put them in there, please do so. The first one is Joshua chapter 7, verse 6. I'm not going to read them, but I want you to study them on your own. Joshua chapter 7, verse 6. The next one is Ezra chapter 10, verse 1. Matthew chapter 26, verse 39. And Mark chapter 14, verse 35. I'll read those again. Joshua chapter 7, verse 6. Ezra chapter 10, verse 1. Matthew chapter 26, verse 39, and Mark chapter 14, verse 35. This week, get in that position, that prostrate position, and surrender everything to God. Lay flat on the floor, face down, hands stretched out. If you're serious about this, ask God to show you what moves you need to make. And then be intentional and not allow anyone else to speak into your life, because God has already spoken in this season. All right, y'all. Y'all know what I say. Stay well, everybody. Tomorrow is International Women's Day. Please join us. You want to hear from Kelly tomorrow. Hear me, and that's KEL -LEE. She's going to bring everything she has and put it on the table. And I'll bring her on immediately after our news headlines. So stay well, and remember, make some bold moves. I'm out.